It's February, the month of love. This month I decided to read through a shoujo manga. For anyone who doesn't know what that is, that's a manga targeted towards girls. Let's get into it. Before we dive into that series, I want to start off this video with talking about this manga right here. The One Piece Ace Side Story Volume 2. Last month I started reading through the first volume, and this manga gives such a fun look at the character of Portgas the Ace, showing us a glimpse of the early days of his pirating adventure before we actually got to see him get introduced into the story in the Alabasta arc. This second volume starts up where the very last one ended, with Ace coming face to face with the legendary pirate Whitebeard. When we first meet Ace in the story of One Piece, we quickly find out that he is a devoted member of Whitebeard's crew. So it's really interesting reading through Ace's story and finding out that when he was first taking on the seas, his main goal was to take down this pirate. What changed? In this volume, we get to see all that transpire. We get to see Ace and Whitebeard's interaction. We get to see the battles between them two and how Ace obviously loses pretty much every single one of them. And we get to see how Whitebeard, a man, a leader, and the kindness in his heart and for his crew affects Ace and makes him change his ways. The artwork, again, in this manga is incredible. If you're a One Piece fan, or better yet, an Ace fan, you should definitely check out this manga. It is 100% worth your time. There's also a bonus chapter at the end of this manga where we get to see Nami and Khalifa's fight in Enies Lobby, but it's drawn a little bit differently. It's definitely something interesting. I have nothing more to say about it, but I'm just gonna put it out there for anybody who wants to check it out. It is there, but that's all I'm gonna say about it. Anyway, next manga. After reading and finishing the Ace manga, I decided why not just continue reading through these One Piece one-shot side story things. So I decided to check out the Wanted manga. I bought this a couple of months ago in one of my manga shopping videos and never touched it until now. Some of the stories inside of this manga revolve around the One Piece world. There's a total of 5 stories in here. Not all of them are great. I didn't like all of them, but some of them are pretty special. I'm gonna give you a brief synopsis of all 5 of the stories and tell you just what I thought about them. The first story is called Wanted, just like the title on the book. Oh my god. This one revolves around this Western gunslinger dude who's like really strong. His name is Gil Baster. He's a talented gunslinger with a pretty big bounty on his head. He's killed many cowboys in his day, including one who is so frustrated at the fact that he did kill him that he is now haunting him as a ghost. It's kind of charming. Seeing the dynamic between this dude and this ghost reminded me a lot of Mob and the dynamic. What was the ghost's name in Mob Psycho? Dimple. There it is. Seeing this dynamic between the cowboy and the ghost reminded me a lot of Mob's dynamic with Dimple and Mob Psycho. I kind of really liked it. This cowboy is a really talented gunslinger. So talented to the point where now, because of the bounty on his head, he has a hitman after him who is like a really, really strong hitman. This guy's probably gonna die. Does he die though? I don't know. You're gonna have to read the manga. Haha. Oda, I love your work, but this one wasn't for me. This was a 5 out of 10. Before we get into our next manga, I just want to take a second to thank the sponsor of today's video, Aura, the ultimate tool to protect your personal information online. With all the time we spend online, the last thing we need to worry about is our data being stolen or sold. That's where Aura comes in. They make sure that I and all of you at home can browse the internet safely without the risk of our information falling into the wrong hands. Aura is constantly monitoring the dark web for any signs that our personal details have been exposed, and they notify me the second anything pops up. That means if somehow anybody gets my information, I'll know about it instantly. I'm watching you. Well, technically they are. But that's not all. Aura also includes a powerful VPN, giving you access to over 100 virtual locations worldwide. So if you currently have a streaming service that contains a show that you've been wanting to watch, but maybe you're not allowed to because it's not available in your country, Aura, you can change your browsing location and easily get access to all the shows and movies that you couldn't before. And hey, it doesn't stop there. If anyone tries to use my personal info to mess with my bank account or my credit cards, Aura is going to alert me right away, so I can take action before things get out of hand. Now, if the worst case scenario does happen and someone manages to actually steal my identity, Aura will have you covered with up to $5 million in identity theft insurance. Also hunt down those shady brokers who sell your personal info and take care of submitting opt-out requests on your behalf. After using Aura for just a few weeks, you won't see your info popping up on those sketchy apps when you Google yourself. It's like hitting the reset button on your privacy. If you want to try it out for yourself, head over to aura.com/Teniz for a 14-day free trial. In a world where everything is connected, it's up to us to protect our data. And and Aura makes it so much easier to do that. So check it out, protect yourself online, and feel a whole lot more secure when browsing the internet online. Thank you, Aura, for sponsoring today's video. Next up, we have a manga called Future Present from God. This is a story that I actually absolutely adore. This one is really good. This short story involves our main character, Branco, walking by a couple of people on the street, pickpocketing them. God sees this and is super frustrated. He hates this dude named Branco. So God pulls out his little notepad and writes down something to happen in Branco's life. He writes down that he wants a meteor to hit this dude. Except God got a little distracted when he was writing this and he accidentally writes branch instead of Branco. So now the sales branch in the city is going to get hit by a meteor. God messed up. So what is God gonna do? God is the reason all these people are gonna die. He goes to Branco and he pretty much fills him in on this notepad, tells him, hey, whatever you write in this is gonna come true. Like, it's gonna happen. And also, you're gonna have to clean up my mess. You're gonna have to make sure nobody dies from this meteor. Branco's like, why would I do this? God's like, hey, I'm giving you a second chance here to redeem yourself. It's really cool. I actually really like this story. I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10. I really liked how fun it was. It was really awesome. It was really charming. Good job, Oda. You cooked. Also, it kind of feels like this story was the thing that inspired Death Note. I don't know if it's true, but there's a lot of similarities here. Short story number 3 is called Iki Yako. This story sucks. I'm gonna give this a 3 out of 10. This one's about a dude who like kills a demon. And that's kind of it. There's more to it, but I didn't really care for this one. If for anyone who's read it, am I wrong for this? Like, I don't know, it wasn't that interesting. Short story number 4 is entitled Monsters. This story I've actually heard about before. I'm pretty sure Netflix has also adapted this one. This involves our main character, Ryuma. He's a samurai. He also might be the guy in the One Piece Thriller Bark arc. This is a decent short story about Ryuma, the samurai, saving this town from a dragon. That's like the most basic way I could describe this one. I actually had very high hopes when reading through this manga because of how popular it was. I don't really know if it really met the expectations that everybody had given me when I was checking this out. I don't know, I expected it to be a lot better. It's good. It's a good read, but I didn't really understand why it was so talked about. I'm gonna give this one a 7 out of 10. And then the final story in this One Piece manga is Romance Dawn. Just like the beginning of One Piece, oh my God. And that's because it is a concept of what the first chapter could have looked like in One Piece. It's kind of cool. Also a little cursed. I don't know, it felt really cursed reading this. Like a lot of the events that happened in this first chapter feels like it could have happened in the One Piece story. Monkey D. Luffy is exactly the same character. He still stretches and he has a straw hat, except the person that gave it to him wasn't Shanks, it was his grandpa Garp, and Garp is also a pirate, not a marine. Really weird stuff. And Luffy runs into this person and teams up with this person that looks like Nami, but their name isn't Nami. Who is this girl? Besides all of those changes, it is just like a little fun One Piece story. It's really cool reading this and seeing how Oda was thinking back in the day, coming up with the idea of One Piece, what he's now most known for, and arguably one of the best mangas created of all time. Cool seeing this humble beginnings of like this little mangaka just trying to figure it out. Just trying to figure out what he was gonna do. I would recommend checking out this manga. If you're interested, I'll give that final short story an 8 out of 10. Now then, let's talk about Nana. This is the shoujo manga I was talking to you about. Nana is a manga I've always heard whispers about, but I've never actually sat down and checked it out until now. And that's because my channel members, I gave them the option to choose between 4 different shoujo mangas for us to read through. They voted on Nana being the one that we should read, and hey, they made a pretty good choice. I get why people like Nana. This is a very simple story. It's a slice of life about these 2 girls, pretty much in their early adulthood life, maybe like around 20 years old. They move out to the big city in an apartment together, and get this, they're both named Nana. Oh my God, that's crazy. And that's really what it is. Nana and Nana are living together. They also kind of weren't even friends before this. They just happened to meet each other and really rocked with each other enough to want to move in with one another. It's really silly, but it just managed to work. Despite living with one another, these 2 girls are polar opposites. One of them is a cutesy, boy crazy softie, and the other one is an emo rock star. Despite these 2 characters being so different, their dynamic with one another is probably the best part of the entire series. This manga is so drama-filled. There's so much romance, so much juicy stuff that's going on, so much scandalous things happening. I genuinely got so invested in it. I don't know why. I really didn't think I was gonna get hooked on the drama of this manga, but now I can't stop flipping the pages. I just need to know what happens. I don't really know how much more I can describe the series without actually getting into spoilers about events that happen in the series, but if you're interested in checking out the series, you should. It's a very simple premise, but man, the stuff that happens, it's just so juicy. Oh my god, the drama, the tea. Anyway, that's everything that I read this month. Click the links down below to become a channel member, subscribe, and go watch some of my other videos. Bye, guys.